Hi there, welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2024 Wildwood 42 View. We are just going to start off the back of the unit. If you notice off to your left, you do have your ladder so you can get up to your roof to check your seals. And then you do have your cable satellite inlet right at the back there. On the left side of the unit, you do have your standard 50 amp twist lock connection. You're just taking that silver strip there, lining it up with that one there, and just pushing in and turning an eighth turn, and then you got that threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that cord back, you do have your standard 50 amp plug-in. A lot of campsites don't have 50 amp service, so we do include this 30 amp dog bone adapter. Just keep in mind, whenever you go down to 30 amps of power, you won't be able to run both air conditioners at once. You can only run one at a time, and the same thing goes for your fireplaces. We also include a 15 amp park adapter, but on a unit like this, that's really only going to run your lights and your fridge maybe. You're going to notice a cap right here off on its own, and that is just for the washer dryer. If you were to want to go through with that, you can contact our parts department. It does not come included with the unit. The unit is just pre-plumbed and pre-wired for it. Whenever you are using the washer, if you ended up to go through with that, you do always have to make sure that this cap is off whenever you're using it. That way you don't backflow into the unit. Right here, you're gonna have your exterior shower. That just unlocks with your standard 751 key. Your unit should come included with your unit. You're just twisting that open. You got your swivel shower head with hot and cold water. Right down below, you got your low point drains. All that does is just drain any fluid that's inside the lines out. So if you're leaving the unit for a while and you don't want the water going stale or stagnant, crack those guys open and empty that out. You got your black tank flush right here. The way that works is if you pop that cap off, if you got your sewer hose connected and your black tank open, very important you do so. If you don't, you do run the risk of blowing up your black tank. You can thread a garden hose in here, turn that on, it's just gonna flush that tank out. If you're noticing false monitor panel readings or an odor inside the unit, just helps keep things that little bit cleaner. And then you do just have your first main sewer outlet. You're just taking that, it's the same thing like the washer dryer one, just taking it and twisting it, and it comes off. You take a note of those ears there. It's going to be the same ears your sewer hose has, and they just lock into place like so. Then you got your gray tank and your black tank. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first, so it's going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets, and then you can come behind that with your gray tank, which is typically a little cleaner water coming from your sinks and your showers. Right up top here, you do have your access for your suburban water heater. Opening that guy up, the main power switch is right here. Turn that guy on, supplies power to the thermostat, which is located inside this compartment. If you open it up, there is going to be some bypass valves in there. Just make sure you don't touch those whenever you do go to winterization. Whenever you go to winterize it, as this water heater does have to have antifreeze ran through it, that way it doesn't burst. A little bit further down, you have your galley tank. Works the same way as those other two, and that's just going to be for your kitchen sink. And then you're going to notice right up top, you got your range hood vent, making sure that flap's unlocked and open. That way the fumes can evacuate the unit, and if you were to go traveling or leaving the unit for a while, you can close that guy off, and that's just going to stop any excess dust from getting inside the unit. Whenever your furnace is running, this guy's going to be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. You got your city water connection, which if you're out of sight with service, you can thread a garden hose in here, turn it on. It's going to pressurize all your lines. And then you do have your fresh water connection, which fills your water tank, and that's what your water pump draws off of. And then right down below, you got your fresh water drain. Pulling that valve just empties any water that's inside the tank out. And then inside here, you just have your compartment where you're going to find your starter kit, your water hose, and your sewer hose, as well as this nice little shelf system that does connect on the other side of the unit. And then right at the front, underneath this cover, which does just slide off, you have your two propane tanks. You're just loosening those guys off. Loosening those guys off, opening that up, you got access to your two valves. Opening them up like a standard barbecue style propane tank opens up the flow of propane to the unit, and then you do have your little selector valve right up front there. With it pointed this way, it's obviously drawing off this tank, and if you were to point it the other way, it would be to draw off the other tank. And then right up front, you do just have your battery box, and that's where your battery is going to be located. And then up front, you just have your tongue jack. You got your 2 standard 110 plug-ins on the side here. You got your patio doors, a couple more plugs, and then you do also have a rear door entrance as well. To get inside, you're just taking that assist handle, folding it up, folding it 90 degrees, it locks into place. Opening up these patio doors, you access the inside, and you take your stairs out. Taking a step on inside, first thing you're gonna notice right off to your left is just your fire extinguisher. That's gonna be simple, pull the pin and shoot. Up on the wall right above that, you do have some interior light switches, as well as your awning switch. You hit that button, extend, that awning's gonna start making its way out. Once fully extended, you're gonna see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. Whenever you do bring this out, being mindful if you get to about 5 to 10 km/h winds, you are just gonna wanna make sure you bring that inside. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything or ripping your fabric. There you go, you get that little flap hanging down in that back of that metal tube, so you're gonna know that's fully extended. Now to bring it in, you are just pushing that retract button and the awning starts making its way in. Once those arms contact the side of the trailer, you're gonna know it's fully retracted. And then right up from there, you do have your lift system, which operates your TV, turning that switch on, turns that lift on, pushing that up button, that TV starts making its way up. And then if you were to want more counter space, you can just bring that back down. And then you have all your shades, so turn off that TV lift, and you can also turn these on individually as well. But turning them all on, you can either bring them up or bring them down. Or you can operate them individually as you would please. On this wall here, it's just gonna be your main kind of panel area. So you got your Spurban thermostat, which works pretty simply. Hit that power button, it's gonna tell you what your current output temp is at. Pushing that button up or down changes the temperature. You can change it between Celsius and Fahrenheit, and then holding that button down for about 5 seconds unlocks the thermostat from child mode, and you can go up to 55 degrees Celsius. Ooh. Seems I didn't hold it long enough. There you go, it becomes unlocked and you can go up to 55 degrees. That's just to help prevent kids from scalding their hands. You got all your light switches on this panel here. You got your outside speaker lights, which just turns on that blue little illumination on the speakers. And then you have your ceiling light switch, turning that on supplies power to your dimmer switch, when you can then hit your dimmer switch. And because it's a dimmer switch, if you push and hold it, it's gonna change the brightness of those lights. And whenever you let off that dimmer switch is where those lights are gonna stay. And then you do just have one more light switch that turns on the awning light outside the door. And then you have your slide out button. Pushing that button down allows those slide outs to start making its way out. Always making sure that you know what's on both sides of the slide out before you operate them, so you don't run the risk of damaging anything. Once fully extended, you're going to hear those motors wind up and the lights kind of dim. There you go, you know you're fully extended, and then just your thermostat right down below. Pushing that button once you get into the mode, and you can go between cool, heat, or cool plus heat, which is going to turn on the furnace or the air conditioner depending on the temperature the thermostat's set at and the temperature outside. And then if pushing that button one more time will bring you into the fan options, and you can switch between high and low. And you can also just turn the fan on, which is just going to move air around with the air conditioner. And I will also mention that this thermostat does control that back air conditioner as well as the furnace. You're going to have another thermostat in the bedroom, which just controls the front AC. And then there's just this one light switch that turns on that overhead fan. Upstairs is just kind of a bedroom loft area for the kids. Just lights and some storage space and mattresses. Opening up this door, which does open a little bit different than regular doors, so just be mindful of that. You step down into the bedroom. You got your light switch on the wall here. And then again, that thermostat, which operates just this front air conditioner, works the same way as the front. And then you have the VersaTilt bed, so you can either bring that bed up or put it down. One thing I'll mention whenever you go to close this bedroom slide, always making sure the VersaTilt bed is all the way up. That way you don't run the risk of ramming the mattress into the dresser. And then other than that, you got your cable satellite inlet right on the wall here with this little black switch underneath. Turning that on turns that green light on, which turns the antenna on the roof. It also improves radio frequency. Storage all above here, and then you got your antifreeze inlet to get access to that. You're just pulling this drawer out. It's hitting those tabs on either side. It's going to give you access to that bypass valve inside here to get that hose inside that pail of coolant. And then you have your fireplace, which is going to work the same way as the front one. You got your power button. You can change your different flame colors with the button next to it. And then you got your different rock light colors. And then you get into your heat option. Pushing that button twice brings you into low heat. Pushing it again goes into high heat. And then you got your timer, which goes anywhere from 30 minutes to 9 hours. Some lights above your head on their individual push buttons. All the blinds inside the unit work the same way. The ones in the living space are all motorized, so making sure you're not trying to operate them manually is very important. And then all the ones inside the bedroom and bathroom and loft area just kind of sit where you leave them, and then just pulling it down once will allow them to retract. Let's give you about it for here. Taking a step into the main living space. You got your countertop here with hot and cold water sink, some storage space down below. One thing I'll mention, both the furnace and the stove run off propane. You got your LP detector down there. If that guy ever starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane to the unit. And just open up some windows just to try and ventilate it out a little bit. And then you got this one switch, which does just do a little illumination underneath the island. And then you get into your kitchen space, which you do have your convection oven up top, which has a built-in light as well as a fan. Goes high and low, and then off again. Same thing with the light. To get the stove light, you are just turning on these panel lights and the oven light. Turning these knobs over to high, giving it a second, because if you do have propane off for a while, it allows air into the system. You got to purge all the air before you get the propane to come out. Sometimes it can take a few minutes, so just be patient with that. And sometimes it helps if you run more than one burner at once. Just be careful. So there you go. Eventually it does light up. Whenever you are running the stove, I do recommend running the fan on the convection oven. Flipping this down, getting the oven to light is the same thing. Just turning that knob over to the pilot option and holding it in until you see that little pilot light underneath. As soon as that pilot's light is lit, you can turn it up to your desired temperature and it'll fire right on up. You got storage space all around the stove as well. You got some pantry space. You do have your residential style fridge. All the controls for that are just right up top here. And then it does have an ice maker, so you do have to make sure that you winterize that when you go to put it away for the season. And then if you are ever moving it, always making sure that you do strap up that fridge. That way it doesn't slam around and cause damage. The little dinette area. You got some overhead lights on their own center push buttons. This is a emergency exit right here. All the emergency exits in the unit work the same way. You're just taking it, sliding that over, and it'll allow you to slide that screen over and hop on out. And the bolts pull up, you're just sliding the whole thing over. into the entertainment center. It's going to be pretty much just like home, minus the fact of having zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 is going to be this bar itself. Zone 2 is going to be those exterior speakers. You do have another fireplace. Works the same way as the one in the bedroom. You got a nice countertop space right up top here. Up top, this loft is the same thing as the last loft. Just bedroom space, really. And then stepping into the bathroom, the door does work the same way as the one in the bedroom, just kind of slides open. You got that light switch on the left. You got your sink of hot and cold water, your max air fan, which you just got to push that black button and push down on the white handle, and it'll push out, and then you can turn it on and it'll start evacuating those fumes. To get it to close, just the same thing, and then pushing that button to turn it off. You got some storage space inside here. Right down below, you got your main breaker and fuse panel. Whenever a breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And whenever you have a fuse blow, there'll be a little red indicator light telling you which one's blown. Inside this closet, pantry space, opening it up, you are pre-wired and plumbed for a washer dryer, like I had said earlier. Or you can use it for closet space, and then you have a central vac inside the unit. And all the tools for that are just located right here. One other thing I'll mention is the main GFI plug is just right here. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd check. You got test on the bottom, reset in the middle. Whenever you have that green light, it's telling you have a successful source. And then you got your shower, which has your water control on the bottom, and then the top is going to do the different heads. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call. Other than that, you do also have the shop vac right here, which I forgot to show you. Switch on the left turns it on. Opening up this will allow you to plug those tools in, and then you do just have a dustless or a pan. You sweep all the dust over here, open this up and turn it on. It'll suck it all in. Just be mindful you're not going to suck anything up too big, because it does go into a vacuum bag and you wouldn't want it to rip. Other than that, if you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.